Hey, I'm going to interview Patrick Hilliard of San Mateo. Patrick is going to recount for us some of those exciting days where he saw history in the making. He saw the Catholic charismatic movement unfold at University of Notre Dame, and even was involved in the Bay Area where God was doing something beautiful at the University of San Francisco. So Patrick, tell us your story.
My story is simple. I was a young boy and I wanted to ride my dad's car.
And when was this? What year?
Best I can figure out, somewhere in the late 70s, 78, 79.
Did you say 68 or 78?
78.
Okay, 1978, gotcha.
Yeah. And that is subject to research. But basically, I went up there just because I could drive the car and I knew where San Francisco University was, University of San Francisco. So I walked in one day and not feeling any threat, and they were praying, and all of a sudden, what are they praying? And I said, okay, Looney Towns.
And what was your background in the church?
My background in the church was a Roman Catholic high school kid. That's about it.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Bellarmine College Prep in San Jose. So anyway, I got to drive the car. My dad was very generous always with his car. And so I walked in and I said, what is this? And this was people praying, and then all of a sudden the hands go up in the air. And I said, uh-oh, what's going to happen? What's going to fall on me? So
what happened next?
I watched to see what was going on, and they were praying, and I kind of discerned in some way that this was a prayer, though I didn't know quite what they were saying. In the course of the evening, the praying in tongues was put aside, and someone started teaching about the Holy Spirit and the things that are detailed in the book of Corinthians. So what happened was I stayed for the whole evening, and some people came up and talked to me and interviewed me and just got acquainted with me. I was back the next week, and the next week after that, and the next week after that, and pretty soon I started this little bit of gibberish, not even knowing what I was doing, but or whatever it was exactly I said. But it was praying in tongues, and I believed that I wasn't just making noises, but I believed, as I looked around too, that these people were praying. And I didn't know what it meant or how they did it or whatever. And so for the next many months, I went up to USF and became acquainted with them. And
where'd you guys meet up there? Do you remember?
Yes, it was in the gymnasium.
Okay. And how did this get started? What, do you know?
From them? No, not exactly. I think probably somebody heard about it from the people, very possibly, at Notre Dame University, because a new magazine came out called New Covenant Magazine, and it took the lid off of everything. And by taking the lid off, I mean, boy, it just went through the roof. The building was filled on Friday nights for the prayer meeting. What else was it called? It was a prayer meeting. We didn't really have names for a lot of these things to start with. But all of a sudden, one day, I decided that I was going to try and take part in the meeting. And in taking part in the meeting, I said something, and they all not really applauded me, but they affirmed me very, very superbly. And so I was a regular attendee up at the University of San Francisco. Then all of a sudden there's this information from New Covenant magazine, which was I think twice a month magazine. All of a sudden there was going to be this big confab at Notre Dame. And so we started talking about it and what would it cost and how would we get along and how would we get there, you know, all the logistics of going someplace. Well, I got done, and I was being solicited, do I want to come? And I thought, well, yeah, sure, I'd love to go, but that costs a lot of money. And they said no, money's no issue right now.
Patrick, you've set the table brilliantly, and next week's episode, we're going to find out how you found your way over there to Notre Dame and what your impressions were. Can you tell us next week?
I can do that.
Bless you, brother.